Hello again, my friends. This is Jennifer Edwards. It's been a long time since I've done my last video, but I'm here again. I'm here with some good news, some good exciting news, and of all the things that God is doing in my life, and it is just so amazing. So my previous videos, which I encourage you so much to watch and see what you can take away from it, but it's such an awesome story of God's leading, of God's miracles, of his favors and his blessings. My previous videos that I've done is really sharing my life story at what happened to me as a little girl, and the way how God lead me, the persons that God have brought in my life to just really bless me, and also how open I have been to them, to receive the help, to receive the word that they have brought to me and act on it, and just the miracles that has happened. So I think the last video I talked about how I was led to Portland, Jamaica, which is where I grew up as a little girl. All of this God did on my knees in my bedroom, and it took 5 days to me 5 days to go and visit my inner child in my spirit. And I know this is weird for a lot of persons, but because I can't say I know exactly what I'm doing at the time, because I really don't, but afterwards the confirmations that come out of it is just absolutely miraculous. So anyway, please, I encourage you to watch that video where I went back to my inner child and went back to Portland, Jamaica, to Rock Hall, to my community, and God brought me back to my inner child where I had a conversation. And so since then it has been so much that has happened. Earlier this year, I heard from the Lord again, and this voice wasn't something that he spoke to me, but through persons. So I think it started with my daughter. She had graduated college, and praise God, debt free. She had graduated from college and she's looking for a job, and things weren't working out just as that moment. And so I was saying to her, why don't you just come home and we can figure things out? And Mom, I just want to do my own thing. I want to get my life started, and this is what I want to do. And I'm going, wow. All of a sudden, it's starting to really dawn on me that, God, I miss Jamaica. I miss the children. I miss how I used to be, where I would be thinking, I want to help my mom, or I see little kids like, their joy. I can't wait to start life so they can help their family who have invested so much in them. So that was the first thing that pulled at me. And then I was doing something, and I saw on Facebook where we had like a heritage day in Jamaica, and the video was of these beautiful children in their costumes, and our folk costumes in Jamaica, and they were just talking about how they're celebrating heritage, and of course Jamaican motto is out of many one people. And so they were just dancing and showing persons from India or China or, Africa. And they were like, oh my God, we're so excited, out of many one people. And I was just like, oh my God, the inner child in me was just like, I miss that. I want to feel that again. I want to feel that. And so that was the second thing. The other thing was, I have had the privilege to meet an awesome lady here in Virginia at William and Mary. She's the author. She lives in Jamaica, but she was honored for her short stories at William and Mary. So I saw it on Facebook, and again, I prompt on that leading. I went to William and Mary, met her. Through that connection, I was able to connect with her editor. And so I remember the first day I got her phone number, and I picked up the phone, and I was outside in my backyard, and when she answered, tears just flow out my face. So just hearing my accent, hearing this a woman who had like a motherly nature to her, and she was just listening to this story. So prior to that, I was sitting with a lot of editors, sitting with a lot of authors, and they're really excited about my story. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm in the process of completing my first book. And so I was looking for an editor. And so I would sit with all these people and I will share with them my goals and this vision that God has given me for the end product. And here I am, the only person like really excited about this vision. And they're like, well, I don't want to overpromise you. And I'm like, listen, I knew in my spirit that I had to sit with somebody that understand that this is huge. Understand the inner child in me. Understand that there's something that God is showing me and it's huge. So when I sat with this lady, she was literally finishing my sentences. And I was like, oh my God, I am being pulled. I am being pulled. I'm being pulled to Jamaica. Okay, God, I hear you. How am I going to afford this? Okay, God, I hear you. 1 week won't do it. 2 weeks won't do it. 6 weeks? Okay, 6 weeks. How am I going to do this, God? How is this going to be possible? I'm going to sit with this for a little bit. I understand you want me to go to Jamaica. I understand that you want me, a sense that you want to take me back to this childhood. Yes, I get that. Okay, God, how am I going to afford it? Where am I going to stay? Because my family has already moved out this area, but you're pulling me back to this place where my brokenness started. How am I going to afford that for 6 weeks? And so the more I started talking about it with my friends, the more the blessing were coming in. Persons were writing checks, just blessing me. The support I got from friends, and I was just like, wow. But for 6 weeks in Jamaica, I had saved a little money and I bought my ticket. And I said, okay, the ticket is done. You know what? I am a simple person. Bread and butter it is. I'm going to make it work. I am going for something greater. I don't know what it is. I am just going to surrender my spirit to whatever God is doing. And so the moment came, and leading up to it, I'm like, God, okay, I am a hairstylist. So I was like, God, if this is of you, hold the snow for me. Hold the snow that my clients are able to come in, and I'll be able to do what I need to do. I'll be able to get my bills paid. I'll be able to do this and do it on a budget. And sure enough, we had like one snowstorm, and it was just enough that over the weekend everything was cleared. The whole month of December there was no snow. And I remember saying to God, if this is of you, open the floodgates when I leave, so I'll know this whole trip is of you. That moment I was just in awe. No snow in Virginia. And the moment came, I got ready. I'm still absolutely nervous. And prior though, so many things are happening in that moment because I still have to find a place to stay. And what God has done, He is so amazing. And just to be able to sit and figure this thing out. There was a lady who is actually mentioned in my first book. She is the young lady who she's a bit older than I am, and she's the one that taught me how to do hair as a little girl. And so I had lost connection with her as well. It wasn't until 3 years ago I went back to Jamaica and to visit my grandparents' gravesite that I saw her. And I was like, is that you? You know, and I was just thanking her for taking that time out to teach me how to do hair. And I was so excited to tell her, hey, I am doing hair now because of you. You have sown a seed in me. So anyway, I said, listen, let me take your number. Let's stay connected. So who would have known that God has connected her to me from a little child, teaching me how to braid, now connecting me. I left that place at 8, so you're talking about 32 years. I was able to connect with her 3 years ago. With that connection, I was able to call her and say, listen, can you just find me a room? I'm here on a budget. I'm coming home on a budget. I just need somewhere that I can write, somewhere where I can just be. And she said to me, you know what? Give me a day. And I said, really? And I think I really stressed to her, like, look, just a room, nothing major, just a room. So she called me back and she said, Jennifer, I have somewhere for you. I have somewhere. I spoke to my family. We have a whole house for you. No. What do you mean a whole house? I can't afford a whole house. She said, no, everything is set. She gave me the price. When she gave me the price to just to kind of help with maintenance, I was shocked at what she said. I think I went to bed and I slept and I felt bad because I thought, no man, the price she gave me, it couldn't be. Let me make sure I touch base because I want to make sure all my T's and I's and everything is dotted and crossed, right? So I called her the next day and I said, you know what? I just want to touch base with you. I don't want to come and assume that what I heard was right and it wasn't. And when she confirmed it, I was like, oh my God. So moving along, things are moving along. I said, you know what? I have a place to stay. I'm not high maintenance, so I can just do the bread and butter thing. I'm good to go. So when I get ready to leave, everything worked out for me. Everything was just a go. And I said, okay, God, I'm going to move on this thing. I left December 31st. And during that time, it didn't come to me that, of course, the transportation would stop, so I wouldn't be able to get to the country on that day. So I had to reserve in a hotel, to stay in a hotel for at least 2 nights. So by this time, I'm like, you know what? The price was reasonable. I'm just gonna stay in the hotel for 2 nights. At least I can visit like the Bob Marley Museum. I can do something, and instead of rushing to the mountains, I can just stay in Kingston and enjoy. So I reserve it, and I reserve the room, and everything is all good. When the flight got to Atlanta, I checked my email and noticed that the hotel had canceled my reservation because the card I used didn't have the funds on it. So I was like, okay, let me call them back and give them the card. But the voice said to me, call this friend that I have connected with on Facebook through a mutual friend who had connected us because our messages that we were just worshiping God, glorifying God, are so similar. We connected 2 years ago. So I go, no man, I can't call this girl. She don't even know me. You have all these crazy people on Facebook. You have all these crazy people. You don't know who is who. She no. And the voice said, call her. And when I pick up the phone and I called her and I said, I have something to ask you. Can I just please stay at your home? I said, we had planned to go to overnight service for New Year's anyway. And she started crying. I said, what? Why are you crying? I said, calm down. I said, no man, if it's not okay, I can just call the hotel. She's like, Jennifer, it would be an honor. Oh, it would be an honor. So I started crying because I'm like, oh my God, it would be an honor. So this lady is crying. She's like, yes, please come. You can stay. I will make everything work out. So anyway, that was a go. I mean, December 31st, I got there. She picked me up at the hotel, at the airport. And let me tell you, she was so overjoyed. She was crying just to finally meet me and for me to meet her. Now, for me, I don't know what to expect. I'm just like, okay. So for me, I'm going into this, my country that I haven't really been for 6 weeks. So my plans, everything is just like in my mind of, okay, how is this going to work? This person is coming to pick me up. I don't really know where she lives. I have an idea. I'm picking her up in her spirit, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure who am I going to see. Oh God, I'm just surrendering myself to your will. She was the sweetest person, the sweetest spirit, the sweetest person. So she came with her friend and they were just so happy. We went to church. We just worshiped all night long. We went to another concert, and it was an all-night worship outside. And let me tell you, when I think about the goodness of God and what He has done for me, when I thought about me being in Jamaica, worshiping and giving thanks, and I started thinking about the year has been a miraculous year. The persons I have met, the people who I have sat with, and the people who have blessed me, the persons who I have blessed, I just worship. I give God all my glory, everything, just worship Him. So we were in this place, actively worshiping to reggae music till like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I literally watched the sunrise. So it was just glorious. And I said, Lord, if this is how I'm ending one year that was just so miraculous, and I'm beginning my 6-week journey, oh, I receive blessings, I receive miracles, and I receive favor. And there it was, I spent like 2 days with her, and it was just so beautiful. And then I continued on my journey to the mountains. So now this young lady was waiting for me at the bus stop, and oh my God, she don't understand my excitement. And she's like, okay, but for me, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect. So let me kind of bring things together. I was separated from this place, Rockall, Jamaica, Rockall in Portland, Jamaica, at 8 years old. One day, my dad just came up. We had no phones at that time. He just visited my grandmother, packed my bags, and took me away. He took me away from a community that I love. He took me from a community that loved me. He took me from a community that I just love the people. I love their hospitality, their kindness. They were farmers. I just love hearing good morning. I love everything about that community, just how close we were. And just one day, my life was broken, taken away from my dear friend who we used to play and go on our adventure together every day. I didn't even realize, or I never even thought, how would that have affected him when he came to visit me and I was not there. So here it is now. I'm going back, not for the first time, but in previous time it has been just very quickly to visit my grandmother's gravesite, and I was out of there. This time I was going for 6 weeks. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if the people were still there. I didn't know if I would recognize anyone. In my mind, I would, but I didn't know what to expect. So I got to this place. She came and picked me up, and here I am. She brought me to the house. The house is huge, 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 huge. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't know how I forgot that I was in the Blue Mountains. I don't know, maybe because I was a child and because I was just so active and full of energy. I don't know maybe I took it for granted that I was in the mountains. I didn't know. So can you imagine when I finally got my bags all settled in and I'm looking at the view? Oh my God. I'm looking at my view. I'm looking at the home I'm staying in, and I'm just like, God, did you do this? So I got settled in. And I remember, though it was raining, it rained for like 4 days straight. And so I didn't get a chance to go out as much. And when I did, I went somewhere to use the internet, And so I'm walking with these plastic bags over my head, and I'm barefoot with my sandals. And I'm like, you know what? I am home. I am home. I'm not a tourist. I'm not looking for anything. I am just home. I am home to reconnect with the people who I love. I'm here to reconnect. I'm here to feel the vibe. I'm here to just eat sugar cane. I'm here to eat whatever fruits is bearing, whatever. I'm here to go to the market. I'm here to sit with persons. I'm just here. So anyway, that was just amazing because I love the rain anyway. And Jamaica is just absolutely beautiful with red flowers on our tree tips, So I'm just like, oh, seeing flowers and rain, you can't ask for better than that. So anyway, with that being said, I was just able to connect with people. Now, that was a little challenging for me. Just seeing people over the course of 6 weeks. For the first week, I struggled. When I tell you, the pain I felt when persons are running to me, when persons are saying, Jennifer that, Jennifer that, Jennifer come here. And I'm like, okay, God, okay, this is another person that I don't know, and I'm struggling. And one day the voice said to me, just give it up. Just tell them that you left at such a young age. Tell them that you don't remember, but you will be here for a while, and just give you some time. And the moment the voice said that to me, I just started to tell people, like, just give me some time. Remember, I left as a little girl. But, I don't blame them, because as a little girl, I was so active in this community. I mean, my grandmother could not find me for dear life, because I was at somebody's house. I was in the fields picking apples or climbing trees or cutting sugar cane. I was just a wanderer, So everybody in this community know me. I'm talking about a good 2-mile stretch of houses are like, Jennifer, Jennifer, Jennifer. So it was such a celebration for me. And once I released myself of trying to remember, then I start to really enjoy. And I remember one person in particular, she looked at me and she was like, what you mean, say you don't remember me? And I'm like, oh God, lady, please help me. Please help me, Lord. Just don't be upset. I'm telling you, I knew I had this personality, but just relax and give me some time. So over the course of time, I start remembering these people, and I'm walking down the street and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm starting to remember. I went back to my church, gave my testimony there of how just growing up, up until 8 years old, how that became my strength for all the struggles that I endured in life. And so that was really nice, being able to share my testimony and seeing all these older people who I knew since I was a little girl. So that was such a blessing. Over the course, though, so many people bought me sugar cane. I was able to go in the fields. Just everything I did, it was such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure going into Port Antonio, going to the market and picking up my fruits and looking at all these fruits on the ground. I'm like, oh my God, I'm picking out my favorite ones, getting jerk chicken. And it was just an amazing trip. But, something else happened too, because during that time, I'm still asking God, okay, what is it you want me to do? What is it you want me to do? And I couldn't get an answer. So I just flowed. I was praying for persons and doing different things for persons, encouraging persons. And it was just truly a blessed time. As I mentioned earlier, that we had like rain for 4 days. So in this beautiful home, there's a little water started coming in on me. Somebody came and said, come, you're coming to my house. I'm like, okay, God. I went to her house and I stayed with her for 5 weeks. Would you believe that? This lady treated me so well. Seriously, I'm not used to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was nice. She treated me, her hospitality, her warmness. So, I just pray to God that I've just said my thank you so many times, and it was just great. Connecting, what I did and what was so awesome. I spent the weekends in Kingston. So I would travel to Kingston every weekend, and I went to church at home, and the church service was nice, just worshiping, very charismatic, and we're just worshiping God, and I connect with my friends there. Then I was able to go back into the mountains and just really relax and unpack everything. So it was nice to leave, because I think, what happened, my spirit was able to try to figure out everything, figure out things. So it was really nice. Connected with my editor. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing, just to see how God connected me to her through a Facebook post that I saw on this lady who won this award, So here I am spending a couple days with her, and I just felt so honored. I felt so honored to be in her presence, to be around her friends. That was such a truly blessing for me. We got up one morning and went to watch the sunset by the ocean. It was just truly blessed. Went to a live play that was really wonderful. It was just truly amazing. Not only that, I connect with my childhood friends, reconnected, and she's now a believer, and that was so amazing meeting her and just reconnecting with her family. Oh God, the relationships that are strengthened, new relationships, old relationships. Oh my God, it was just 6 weeks of blessing and God's provision, because I don't know how. I didn't check my account. A matter of fact, a guy I knew about 3 years ago had borrowed money from me, and he had went off and he never paid me. Would you believe that in my first week I was there? He messaged me and I responded and I said, who is this? You know, he was telling me I look really beautiful. And I go, oh. I said, who is this? And he said, well, this is your friend. And I go, well, I would look even beautiful. I look more beautiful if you paid me my money, right? So he go, you know what? I have it for you. He sent me that money in Jamaica. And I thought, you know what, God? Okay, this is just too good to be true. So that's just a really recap of God's leading, the provision. I mean, I went to a women's conference that was really nice. Lots of praise and worship. God, it was just truly, truly blessed. What else can I share? But to wrap things up, on my way back, on my flight back, I was just talking to God, and I was reading a memoir of this young lady I met in Jamaica, and it's entitled, you know, The Eagle Stays on Top. And I sat there and I opened the book and I go, Lord, this is a moment where I should be reflecting on everything. And I said, why am I busy in my spirit reading again? And he said to me, because I speak through you while you're doing what I've asked you to do. And I said, God, okay. He said to me, do you realize what I've done for you? Do you realize that I've restored your childhood? Do you realize that these are the persons that you did not remember at all? Do you realize that you remember the place? You remember sitting with your grandmother. You remember all that, and there's some significant persons you remember, but there's lots that you have lost, you know? And I said, oh my God, he have restored. I mean, just the challenge that I had to go through to remember these people, to see the mountain, everything was just coming back. And how privileged I feel to have such an opportunity. How privileged I feel to have that. And I reflect a little bit more. The young man that I told you that we played together every day. He was on the island the same time, but we missed connection. And I called him, and the first thing he said to me, Jennifer, where have you been? And those words stung me so hard. He said, where have you been? I was worried about you. I came looking for you one day and you were gone. Do you know what that did for me? He said, I loved you. I protected you. I protected you, Jennifer. And a place in my heart just ached. But I think it was so much joy to hear his voice. Even though I couldn't see him, to hear him, my childhood friend, just say, I loved you. Then when he started talking about, he said, remember, the trucks I used to make, and I used to show them to you with our little boxes and stuff. He said, I'm an architect now. And I'm just like, oh my God, And so I haven't been able to connect with him yet. He's in New Jersey. Haven't been able to connect, but just the conversations that we have had so far has been so amazing. It has been so beautiful. I feel so honored with all these connections. And so, now I am back home, and I just want to share with you that, God leads us in such a mysterious way. But we have to trust. We don't know. But we have to also be keen to our spirit, and to be able to have history to know when God speaks and how he speaks to you, how you build momentum, how do you know, where you don't have to question. I don't have to question if this is of God. I don't, because I have so much personal history where he have just led me, and I've just go with the flow and go, and every single thing I have done have been successful. So right now I am in my second book. My first book is in my editor's hand in Jamaica. I am super excited. I am in my second book, and in a few months I'll be done with that. I'm going to be sharing some videos on some different things, some little nuggets that will help persons to know when they're being led, and just different nuggets to help strengthen us so we can be encouraged. We can be mindful that even though we're in the natural, everything is being downloaded in our spirit. So while we work on our bodies and we're trying to look good in our bodies, that our spirit is really the place where we need to nurture. We need to understand who we are in our spirit. We need to understand the ingredients that God has placed in us, and to really do whatever we can to mature those seeds and develop them to where we become fruits that others can enjoy. So please stay tuned. I am just really excited. My future look great, and I'm gonna help you. If you need help too, I'll help you to figure out some things, just a little nuggets here and there. So God bless you. I love you, and thanks for tuning in. Take care.